Hello, welcome to Love Food, Hate Money, show where we talk about food, how much we love it, we prove it by spending all of our money on it. I am your host, Jonah. This is co-host, Courtney.
Hey.
And let's talk about our drinks. It is the second day of Boozmas. My father gave to me.
Give a little more detail, a little more context.
Sure. So, for those of you that don't follow us on the social medias, which if you don't, you should, because I do dumb things.
It's great.
And it's
Watch Jonah do
something to
dumb
incentivize giving me hate mail, and I haven't received any yet, and it is the season to tell me that I'm naughty.
You did get a hate comment on Instagram, though, from our lovely friend and listener and best artist, Jess. And she said she wants to fight you because you don't like pumpkin pie.
Have you had any other gourd pie? Like, literally just eat a sweet potato pie. It just tastes more like yummy. It's the same, but better.
So your dad gave us not one,
not two, not three, 4, 5. What did he get? What would that be? 48. So he gave us 60 little presents for this year.
Oh, that's so wonderful.
What a G. 3 different calendars, 2 full 24-day calendars, and 1 a 12-day a Christmas situation. All from Maker's Mark, so Sam's Club.
Yeah.
He gave us 24-pack of 50 ml assorted, just base spirits. They're
little shooters.
Little shooters of the Members Mark brand of tequila, gin, rum, vodka, and vodka.
You know.
Yeah, just in case the American vodka wasn't your speed, they got the French vodka for you.
Ooh.
And then a 24-pack of beer, which is pretty cool because it has 24 different styles in it. So it's a fun way to sort of go through the styles without a single repeat. I mean, a couple of them are stylistically similar, like American IPA and West Coast IPA. Like that, they're going to be different. We poured the American IPA today, and you had comments on it.
It's not the color I was expecting.
Which we pretty much have only ever had West Coast IPAs or hazy IPAs or New England style IPAs, which this technically isn't any of those. So this should be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Did you try it? Wow, it smells hoppy. Very pine resiny.
It doesn't taste that hoppy, though.
Yeah, it's got more of a...
It's like shockingly mild.
Yeah, it ranks pretty low. I wonder if it's got the IBUs on it.
Which is why I was like, oh, this isn't bad.
Let's see. It doesn't list that on the box. Is it listed on the can? Can you read the can?
You have the can.
I'm the only one
can
with
you
the can.
read?
No. You typically don't like IPAs at all.
No,
so
I don't usually like them because
this
they
one.
taste like
Pine forest.
hairspray and pine needles.
This one doesn't say the IBUs. It's probably pretty low. It's got a really like deep sort of malty sweet bread characteristic.
It's not bad.
It's good. Really smells hoppy on the nose. And then I'm also drinking a highball with American 6 times distilled vodka. We also got the funny little jam thing that's very popular.
The Bon Mama.
Bon Mama.
12 days of jam mist.
11 days of jam mist, 1 days of honey mist.
Yes, true.
So that'll be fun to break
I'm a
into
little
later
sad
on.
that that's not the 24 days because apparently that one is the most coveted one, but I am really glad to get to participate at some level.
I think this was a pretty, like,
I don't think I need 24 mini jams, but it's a fun thing to think about.
Right. I mean, the need is strong on any of it, but I think it's pretty fun because if you have someone that appreciates food, drink, things in your life, like an advent calendar version of that, it's a fun thing to give to them as a Christmas present because it's like, here, enjoy the entire season.
Van Lam has this like chocolate one that she got, and I want that one next year. It is your duty to find out what it is and to get it for me next year.
Got it. There's a chocolate one, and I'll get Donnie 24 discs of
No,
Discmas.
I want it for me.
Yeah. Well, I will get you one, and Donnie needs the 24 discs of Discmas one, because I think that would be very good for him. So we have our drinks.
Yeah.
That's it. Thanks for coming by, everyone. We'll see you next time.
I thought you were going to talk about the disappointment that was the Burger King Italian sandwich.
Yeah, so right now, like all good movies, there's 2 different movies about cannibals right now, and there's 2 fast food restaurants about Italian American sandwiches. So we had the Wendy's ones, and now we have the Burger King one, which is their like crispy chicken with marinara sauce and a slice of melted mozzarella. That one,
bad.
Not as good as Wendy's one. The Wendy's one's got the hockey puck of love.
And you can get the spicy chicken with it.
You get the spicy chicken with it, and you get the big old mozzarella puck. Delicious. Burger King one is fine. It is not worth it.
No.
If you find yourself sitting at home and thinking, man, I really wish there was a fast food, Italian, American, weird sandwich right now that cost a little bit more than it should. Gosh, I wish I had that. Wendy's is the option for you.
True. You're welcome.
Or Subway, I guess.
Meatball marinara.
So that's what the Wendy's one reminded me of, is the meatball.
Well, yeah, because you get the burger version.
I had the burger version, which was just like, hello, old friend. That was my go-to back when. Actually, we ate a moderate amount of Subway. I don't think I've ever talked to you about that. We did
when I was younger because it was like a healthy fast food.
Well,
even though the thing that I ordered was the sweet onion chicken teriyaki, which was like a bajillion calories in sugar.
Well, because it was sweet onions, and it was. I remember those sandwiches coming pretty wet.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they were.
Meatball marinara was also wet. Oh, meatball marinara. The weird, beautiful bread foam smell in the air.
I don't think I could eat it now.
The way the seaweed
glistens in the moonlight. You sent me a really funny article.
Yeah,
this week, and that's going to be kind of our jumping off point for this episode. We were going to do a newsroom episode, and then after reading the news, I was just depressed.
Even the food news was depressing.
The food news right now is mostly that like people can't afford it, and that just sucks.
Yeah.
So if you find yourself in a place where you do have extra, especially during the holiday season, but of course anytime, definitely consider donating some non-perishables.
These laugh. It's not a good laugh, but it's a really, it's the holiday season.
You're just interrupting.
Homeless people probably really want food just now. No, I know.
I feel like in our society, we do this really big push around the holidays because we have this guilt about our own excess, and we give based on that. And I think that, yeah, absolutely, people are hungry during the holidays, but they're also hungry all the time.
Yeah.
And so if you do have extra, we super encourage you to donate financially, donate non-perishables. I'm going to actually do some research into some charities locally to see what we can do, whether that be...
all part of the agenda.
Yeah, donate our time. Like, I think more than ever, like, if you have the resources, you need to take care of your neighbors.
Take care of people. Be good to people, because it's bad. It's bad world.
So anyways, now we're going to laugh at this lady who wrote this really ridiculous article.
I was just going through because I read my Google News pretty regularly, and the article popped up. It said, it was from Yahoo Life. It said, Thai Restaurant 101, from drunken noodles to sticky rice. Here's what to order as a beginner. It's from Casey Clark. It's of November 28, 2022. And I think that is a hilarious headline for an article in 2022, because I guess, living where we live, there's plenty of Thai restaurants.
Our literal favorite restaurant is the Thai restaurant.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's funny that there's enough people in the United States and probably across the globe, but I feel like Yahoo Internet, that's aiming at U.S.
towards the working man.
It's so funny to me that people are a little bit scared of ordering at Thai restaurants.
Yeah.
And it made me laugh and sad, because I grew up eating at all sorts of restaurants and enjoying eating food, and there's a lot of people that apparently don't do that.
I think that's one of the really interesting things that you and I have in common, considering how different our upbringings were, is that we both grew up eating at very diverse restaurants. Like, my dad had a passion for trying new things, and he and I would go try different restaurants. We would go eat Chinese food. We would go eat Thai food. We'd go get Indian food, Mexican. Like, we would eat anything.
Yeah. And all food is delicious.
Because everything is delicious. So why would you not eat it all?
Or at least there's something in every category that you're probably going to be able to enjoy.
Right. And so to think, that there are adults out there kind of wandering around going, I don't know what to order, it's valid depending on your upbringing. I totally get that. But it's just funny to me the way that this article was like worded, and also who's writing this article.
Mm-hmm. And there's so much of it that is, it's just very basic. Like, there's a lot they interviewed, it looks like a couple different people in this article, but it's If some of the word, you're curious what to order for the first time you eat at a Thai restaurant, we chatted with chefs and owners of Thai restaurants to get the scoop on this popular cuisine.
Or literally ask your server. Like, that's their whole thing, is that they're paid to tell you what to order.
Which is, depending on the restaurant you go to, like sometimes it's just like a walk-up counter, but you could literally just go up and say, hey, I would like something, but I don't know what. If you had to order food, what would you get?
Yeah, what do you recommend? Like, what's your favorite thing? Because most of the time, you're going to find the best things on the menu if the staff appreciates the food there.
Or if you have a bad server, i.e. me, it's whatever's the funniest to me. What's good here?
You're like, I don't know. I don't eat here.
You think I spend time eating here? You little goose. But the article keeps going on and says spices and for everyone. Spice is one of the quintessential flavor profiles for Thai cuisine, which is funny to me because they use Thai bird chilies quite a bit, and you can get your food ripping hot.
Yeah, you can get spicy food.
But we went to a Thai restaurant fairly recently where we had a pina colada fish soup, and
I knew you were going to bring that up.
Not spicy.
I knew you were going to bring that up.
I knew you were going to do this from the moment I got up this morning. Michael,
I just also, for context, I just want to mention that it's 1:30 in the morning when we're recording this. So if it's just
if we're having chaos, more fun, it's because we don't have.
This is the first time we've seen each other in like days. So
I don't even know who I'm talking to.
Anyways,
yeah, spicy food as a pillar of Thai cuisine, I think is a funny and a misnomer. It's like saying that anything you get at a Mexican restaurant is going to be spicy. It's funny how cultures that do have spicy dishes are
like pigeonholed,
are like personified as that, where you can't go into it and have anything other than spicy food. Like if you go to a Buffalo Wild Wings, you can get Parmesan garlic wings. You're gonna make it through, baby girl. It's fine. You're not going into a Buffalo Wild Wings and they're like blazing her bust, baby girl.
Is that the most American restaurant you could think of? You were like,
It was just the one restaurant that I can think of that had something spicy in the name.
Okay.
And you can go in and get not spicy food. You're going to make it through.
You're going to be okay.
You're going to get through this together. But the best part about this article is the very tail end of it. And it's a slog of a read. So I have not read the whole article. I skipped to the end. Sorry again to miss... what's your name? Casey Clark or Mr. Casey Clark. Who knows? But the very tail end, the last thing, they finally get to it. They say the 5 best items to order as a beginner. Still not sure what to order off the menu. Nong tan or non tang, depending on how the pronunciation is.
Read the whole article. Why would they still have questions?
They talked a lot about a lot of things, but not actually what to order.
Oh my God.
He's a general manager of Aloy Thai in Boulder, Colorado. Recommends going with the following items. So this is his recommendation. It's his 5 items. And it's up to you, Courtney, to figure out what his top 5 items as a newbie booby.
Pad Thai.
Lob. Yeah, no.
No.
Nope, neither of those are listed.
Khao soy.
Nope.
Tom yum.
Nope.
What the hell? The oyster mushrooms.
The oyster mushrooms from Glybon. Hyper specific, but you should probably try them.
The chicken wings. Oh, that's just my order. Okay, what is it?
So, number 1, egg rolls, which I thought was hilarious because I don't associate egg rolls with Thai food in general.
No.
So, like, he might serve them at his Thai restaurant.
Sure, that's great.
I don't even know if that's something that I've seen at a Thai restaurant. Like, I was thinking about it.
Maybe Yupas?
Maybe. Drunken noodles. We get drunken noodles. They're delicious.
I like drunken noodles.
We get drunken noodles at Yupas.
Yeah.
Thai fried rice.
Okay.
Which is fine, but also fried rice is not, I don't associate it as a Thai dish, even if you do get one with a more like Thai fish sauce driven.
I mean, they definitely, like, I feel like any culture that is like very grounded in rice has their own version of fried rice. So I don't think that's necessarily a bad recommendation, but I do think there's so many exciting like noodle dishes and soups.
You've had that before. If you've had Chinese fried rice, you've had
Thai
fried.
I would say it's a different flavor profile if it's a good Thai restaurant.
That's probably true because we've had fried rice at Glybon as an example, and a flavor profile
totally different,
significantly different. But the way that this is worded, and this is the direct quote, says this savory and almost crispy rice comes from a fiery wok and has a hint of sweetness. Tang says the sweetness will have newcomers going for their next bite right after the first, which is also just called eating. You're gonna like this one. Boba Thai tea.
Well, obviously.
You should go into a Thai restaurant. There's
Honestly,
so few
though,
Thai restaurants that have boba as an option.
Well,
in my experience,
yes, boba is a Taiwanese treat, and like Thai tea
is a Thailand treat.
So if you can get both together, absolutely delicious. 100%, 10 out of 10, recommend. And definitely do order the Thai tea at your favorite Thai restaurant because it goes so good with the food.
Yep. In particular, if you stumble into a Thai restaurant and you're pigeonholed into having to eat their spicy food,
if usually somebody forces you,
usually pretty sweet. Goes good with it. If you have sweet and spicy, it's nice. And then the last thing is mango sticky rice, which I thought was funny because I
feel like that's
rice pudding is not the number one thing where I'm like, if you go to this Thai spot, you got to try their pudding.
Well, that one's interesting because not every Thai restaurant has mango sticky rice specifically. Like a lot of them will have a sticky rice dessert.
Yeah.
But I think like if you're gonna go to a restaurant, like maybe just ask again for a recommendation. Like because one of my favorite things that we've had is the white bread dipped in the pandan custard.
Yep.
Like they do have a sticky rice there also. We've never ordered it because we're obsessed with the bread.
Yeah, the pandan custard with just the Wonder Bread is.
And I think one of the things that makes Thai food so interesting and a lot of cuisine so interesting is the regionality. And so,
yeah.
Are you eating Southern Thai food? Are you eating Northern Thai food?
Mm-hmm.
And that goes for really everywhere.
Pretty much anywhere.
And so this idea that this list would be like, this is it. This is the how-to guide. I think that's so silly.
Any how-to guides on just eating in general, I think we'll find comedy in because you should just stop being weird about it. Go and try a restaurant, and if you like it, great. And if you don't, maybe it's just not for you, or maybe you ordered bad. Maybe there are things there you do like, but it's really funny to me that people are so weird about it because the beginning of the article talks about how they were so overwhelmed. Like, am I ordering fish or am I ordering beef? If you don't have a food allergy,
just eat.
Just go in and eat the food. Like you're gonna be okay.
I think that as a society, we could do better when it comes to trying new foods. I think a lot of people tend to get in their head about it. And I understand, but I'm a picky eater.
Like, the pickiest eater I know.
I am so picky, but that doesn't stop me from trying things.
It doesn't make me eat a lot more than I should. Be at a restaurant, be like, this is going to be a 50-50 split. 70-30 every time.
Look, if I don't like it, you also don't have to finish it if you order it and you don't like it.
We were raised different.
But yeah, I think that there's something to be said about people who have that interest and that like desire to explore through food versus people who are just terrified.
It's wild to me because it probably came from a spot of you got to eat what's in front of you. Like that, it probably came from like almost an unhealthy level of you got to eat it's also why I have to eat all the food that is at any given meals because like we didn't eat a ton of leftovers growing up and if anything, and it was like you clear the plate in front of you,
right?
So I think it was that, and we went to so many restaurants, and I was never going out to a restaurant and anyone looking at me and saying, "This thing you're about to eat's crazy. You're not gonna like it." Like that's not helpful.
Right. And I think too that you would be surprised a lot of the times the things that you would like that maybe you read on a menu that don't sound good to you.
For the most part, if it got onto a menu,
somebody liked it.
They tried it at one point and someone approved it. It's not it's not this wild west of we saw peanut butter and jelly and we put them together and it's this really avant-garde flavor profile. Like it's gonna someone tried it before they made it.
I think you made a really good point though about ordering bad because a friend of yours just told us a story about how they called a restaurant and we're just like, well, I think I want something that tastes like this. And the restaurant was like, we don't have that. Could you like maybe order something from the menu? And do you not remember that?
No. I blocked out that story. That's usually what happens when I get real stressed.
I'm doing this.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. So
I don't remember the rest of it.
Well, they were talking about how they were calling to place a pickup order, and they were just like, well, I wanted these things, but they didn't have those things. And then the things I got weren't good.
Yeah.
When it's like, well, when you go off script.
Set yourself up for failure on that one.
Yeah, like maybe, again, goes back to asking the person who works there because they know the food.
And unless you have a bad one like me, they're probably going to tell you something good and not just funny for them. Sometimes it's mutually beneficial for me. I'll throw that flyer out there that I don't think I ever recommend things that are truly bad, but I will recommend something that I find entertaining.
But where I was going with that is this idea of like when you then get the food and then you're like, oh, it wasn't good.
Yeah.
Like you tried to order things that they were like, what are you talking about?
You don't want this. Like, I'll have it. Like, okay.
And I think if you want to do a little research before you go eat a cuisine you've never had before, I think that's totally fine. It
is 2022.
And
the internet is out there, and Yahoo is putting out these fantastic articles.
Well, I'll be super honest and say there have been times where I've Googled ingredients that I'm not familiar with. Or some menus will have the brand name of a sauce instead of...
That's my favorite when it's very specific and you go, oh, what?
Like, for example, if you don't know, Red Boat is a very common fish sauce that's used.
I wouldn't say very common, but it's quality
popular.
Brand.
It's really good. But if someone puts that in the menu and they just go, Red Boat sauce.
It's a sauce from our finest Red Boat.
What does that even mean? That's okay to ask, and it's okay to look it up.
Yeah. And there's hardly ever bad questions.
And I think it's also worth saying that because you had a dish with the same name at one restaurant and you go to another restaurant and you order the same dish and it tastes different, it's not because the restaurant's bad.
Yeah.
It's because somebody else made the food. Because
Burger King doesn't use a mozzarella cheese puck. It just uses a mozzarella slice. And that sandwich was different. That was a good callback.
Don't talk to me. I'll murder you.
The pain in my heart.
What was so funny about this article to me is it kind of got me back down a rabbit hole that I've been down before. There was an article that Bon Appetit put out, and obviously Bon Appetit has a very...
The old Condé Nasty.
Rough history when it comes to talking about culture and food and identity.
They got a wonderful history of talking about it. It's just behind closed doors. They
checkered past, let's just say. I mean, they are very well known for...
By checkered, she means white. It's a very white past.
They're known for the one pho video that went really viral where...
Amongst other things.
A white man... Yeah, well...
A white man?
A white man, no! Got on and was like, this is how you eat pho the right way. Like, that's just like never... We don't want to be that. I don't want to hear that.
Really try to avoid being the person that tells people how to live their life. I do think that I probably come across like really hyper opinionated about a lot of this stuff. Yes. But I think the main takeaway from this episode and us as a group,
our philosophy,
don't yuck someone's yum. Like it's not worth it. You're not getting anything fun out of it. Or you are, and you're a bully, and that's lame.
That feels bad.
Feels bad.
But they had put out an article a little while back talking about white people food. And this idea around white people food and how, like, it's bland, it's unseasoned, and how that's really kind of like a big internet meme that's taken off because of TikTok. Mm-hmm. And I think when we get into that, like, generalization of any kind of food,
sure,
it becomes problematic.
Yeah, anything that you do to minimize any people group is probably not ideal. I do agree that the white people food jokes tend to be funny.
Well, anything too, like they're specific to certain regions, like mayonnaise heavy food. You can kind of pinpoint a region where that's very popular.
There's so many jokes that ran through my head all at once. I love that mayonnaise food is a white people food because I'm pert near as pasty as it gets, and I am mostly terrified of mayonnaise.
Oh yeah, and I know a lot of people who are.
If you get mayonnaise in the bigger buckets that you get if you work at a school or a restaurant, the large format like paint buckets of mayonnaise, and it has the prerequisite little child drowning in it thing. That is my worst nightmare, is to die drowning in a pile of mayonnaise.
If anybody would like our address to send you a bucket of mayonnaise, I will give it to you.
Freaking spooky. Also, that stuff is held like is shelf stable, so it's held warm most of the time, and drowning in warm mayonnaise gets oof.
I just need a minute.
A moment of silence for those.
That was a lot.
Just start playing the Sarah McLachlan song, "The Arms of an Angel," for all the poor children that have fallen in mayonnaise, never to be seen again.
But the article also mentions how like people see super seasoned food as being quote unquote ethnic food. I think that term is just not.
That's a cringy term.
It's not a great term. It doesn't feel good.
I think the article does a really funny job of breaking it down and saying white people food and not white people food or ethnic food. And both of those are very minimizing in their own rights.
Yes.
So I think it's trying to do an okay job of saying people eat what they eat.
Right.
And we shouldn't pick on anyone for what they eat.
Yes.
But yeah, the white people food, the not white people food. It's very...
Well, I think it's interesting. I think that there is some of it's a joke, right? Like some of it is just you see videos online of people making food and you're like, what is that? But how much of that is people just looking for attention versus how they actually eat?
Sure.
Whereas I think there is also like the mayonnaise salads of the world that give me just
nothing like a
where I'm like, yeah, actually super agree. But the article also talked about gatekeeping spicy, which I think is a good thing to come back to because we've kind of talked about that already. And I think growing up...
culture does use chili peppers doesn't mean it's only spicy food.
Yeah, and I think also to say that like, oh, all white people can't handle spicy food is like a very funny generalization. Especially I think growing up in the Southwest where we do eat a lot of Mexican food. We eat a lot of chilies.
Eat a lot of Tex-Mex, a lot of spicier food.
Yeah. And so I think when we get into these broad generalizations about food, it's really more problematic than the original in like context of the joke. And kind of this isolation of any type of food is bad. Because they also mentioned in the article that, well, white people love sushi. Does that make sushi white people food? Because it's quote unquote bland. And I thought that was so interesting because some of the most flavorful bites of food I've ever had were sushi.
Sure.
And so I think when it comes down to it at the end of the day, we need to look more towards like just being willing to try things and like have an openness towards food instead of just trying to put it like I feel like humans just love to put things in tiny little boxes.
Categorizing. It's what we do. How we make sense of the world. If a white person likes spicy food, are they even white anymore? Like, this doesn't make any sense.
And then of course, like that doesn't take away from the fact that like there are some really problematic things, and white people have absolutely taken advantage of their privilege and co-opted foods that weren't theirs, and like totally understand the hurt and the anger towards that because. Yeah, like it's not fun when a woman goes on TikTok and is like, look, I discovered spa water recipe. And then somebody else is like, you mean agua fresca? Like we've been drinking that for hundreds of years. Like, what do you mean?
Guys, I squeezed an apple and juice came out. I am a pioneer.
There's actually a term for that. I really deep dived on this because I think it's so interesting.
I feel like I heard you talk about this before.
And like I love reading food anthropology and just talking about like how what we eat now reflects like our histories. But this one, the term is called Columbusing.
Oh, that's not what I thought you were going to say. I thought there was another term for. Oh, no, it is because it's when you discover something that already exists.
Well, and the health food market does this a lot, where they will be like, guys, the new greatest health food is quinoa. And people in South
Chia.
America are like, what?
You mean just like a regular grain? Good for you.
Even one of the lists was like, guys, this new healthy snack, hummus. What?
Brand new, never been seen.
And I think it's just...
She's about to make her debut.
The article that I got that went from this one to the one I'm referencing was talking about chopped cheese, which I thought was funny because we've talked about chopped cheese.
Love a chopped cheese.
This is our own fault for bringing this to the masses. We obviously shouldn't have done this. But people were making fun of Whole Foods for Columbusing chopped cheese and putting it into their New York stores and charging $8 for it. Where you would go into a bodega and spend $4 on a chopped cheese.
That's wild. Also, that's cheaper than I would expect a Whole Foods chopped cheese to be.
Well, they're charging double what it like goes for though in that area. Right. So they're technically playing the Whole Foods game.
Yeah, I guess that ratio makes sense. They're still doing the Whole Foods double play.
I think matcha was referenced as like antibiotics or antioxidants. Antibiotics.
Same. The medicine.
Whatever, you know what I meant.
Anti-aging.
But just like these health benefits that the people who actually discovered these things have been reaping this whole time.
Or not. Not to say that there's not like antioxidants or antifungal inside of your matcha.
Chopped cheese is very good for your health.
Good for your health. There's nothing like the mental health boost of a nice greasy sando. It's a lot of that health stuff is so funny because like, oh, they've been doing it for centuries. And it's like, yeah, but they still die too.
Well, I think that's the other funny thing about food is this idea that some of it is magical and some of it is not.
Magic food and not magic food.
And I think that also gets into something that maybe we can expand on in another episode when in regards to food is this idea of there being good food and bad food and assigning morals to food.
Well, some food likes to rob candy from babies and other food likes to give that candy to the poor babies. Robin Hood food.
So dumb.
But good and bad is a funny thing. Like, don't yuck someone's yum. It's such a strange thing that any of the food articles and stuff that we read, or it's like, oh man, this is the right way or the not right way to do this. Like, that's very opinion based.
Yeah, and I think, we've obviously given opinions. This show is about you listening to us give our opinions on things. So obviously, there's a right answer, but that's neither here nor there. But also, I think at any point, if we give an opinion that you disagree with, that is okay.
Mm-hmm.
And you can send us hate mail, and that's fine too, because at the end of the day, my experience is my experience.
Yep.
And yours is yours, and they're going to be different.
Going to have different experiences, and it's going to be okay. But some of the stuff,
don't disparage people for eating things they like to eat.
Yeah, and I don't know, I'm right there with most people where if someone's eating something that I think is gross, I'll be like, oh my God, how are you doing that? But also, it's what they want to eat. It's what they want to eat. And who are you to do that? One of the better drink podcasts, YouTube channels. It was a YouTube channel, like the Whiskey Tribe. Couple guys that drink a ton of whiskey. Their number one thing is trying to advocate for people to drink it.
Yeah.
And the whiskey that you like to drink is what you like to drink, how you like to drink it. And that's their whole shtick is, if you want to drink it with ice, that's cool. A little bit of water, that's cool. You're still pushing forward and advocating for that community. And just being more inclusive with people, I think is going to get you a lot farther than being gatekeep, angry. This is the only way to do this thing.
Yeah. And I think there's a kind of a culture, especially with influencers, and one specific YouTuber comes to mind where it's just this is the right way to cook this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I disagree. I think and I've been doing this thing where I'm cooking one dish from every country. And one of the first ones I did it called for a technique that I had never seen. I'd never heard of. I was like, this is going to be bad.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's no way this is going to work. Did it? It was freaking delicious.
Yeah.
And now I want to try that cooking technique on different recipes.
Sure.
To improve them.
About to get canceled.
What?
Using a technique that you're not supposed to use from another culture that's not yours.
Oh, that's not... What? No.
I'm kidding. But still, like, it is...
Why can we not just learn from each other? That's what I want to know.
I agree. I do think that is something that it would be nice.
But I also think that there still has to be a conversation around it, and I don't think we're the ones to have this conversation, is what is appropriation versus appreciation.
Yep.
Because I think that is an important conversation, and I think that there's people who speak to it really well because it's something that they have faced their whole lives. If you've read about, what was the term? It was in one of the articles, but it was like lunchbox.
The kids that have been left off for having the
yes,
the
I can't. There's a specific
foods.
term that they used in this article, but it was talking about when kids are made fun of because of the food that they bring to school, and that is real experiences that people have had. I've never had that experience. I didn't even go to school, so when we talk about, I was homeschooled. Okay,
there it is. It's like this.
But when people talk about those experiences, I think it's really important that we also listen and acknowledge those experiences. And at the same time, I think it's also okay to appreciate food outside of the culture you were raised in, if you can do it respectfully.
Yeah. I agree. I like eating all the food.
Yes.
That's my thing.
10 out of 10.
Would recommend. You hear that? It's the sound of a pug. I actually did hear the pug.
No, she's sleeping.
Oh, good night, sweet pug. Gotta go tuck her in. Give her little sleepy kisses.
Thank you for listening to Love Food, Hate Money. This podcast is edited by John Watkins of Feathered Fiction Studios. He also does our original music and works with us on a crazy timeline, and we've been so inconsistent. So thank you so much, John, for tolerating us as we deal with our crazy schedules. We are on all social media, pretty much. Connect with us. We've been making TikToks. We are on Instagram. We did create a Patreon, but the more that we've kind of looked at that, we were thinking, since this is a communist food podcast, we should not be asking you for money. We should be asking everyone for money.
I.e. advertisers.
Advertisers, exactly. So what we're looking at doing is probably pressing pause on that and moving more towards just putting out content. And if people like it, they can share it. And if it gets to a point where we can make money through advertisers, we would rather do that. And if you want to buy merch to support us, you can totally do that too.
Try to make more funny things. That way you can buy funny things.
Yeah, we think that'll be cool. We have t-shirts right now still. We have some new sticker designs that I will post again on Instagram. And we're still working on improving the website. I've got some recipes that are going to go up pretty soon. Just finished a little mini cookbook, so that'll be fun. So check that out, and that's all I got.
I don't think I have anything else to add to that either, but thanks everyone for listening and being a part of our lives.
Sure. Okay, bye.
Bye. Made a mess.